What COVID-19 did was it exposed societal inequities that existed in our communities, in our neighborhoods, our cities and states, but that we often didn't want to think about. My name is Linda Garrett-Johnson, and I am the owner and principal consultant for The Word Applied Incorporated. And in this brief YouTube video, I'm going to be explaining what some of those societal inequities are, how they were exposed by COVID-19, and then give one opportunity that we have to address them. COVID-19 exposed societal inequities that I believe we all knew existed, but we didn't really think about them in our day-to-day life. What I mean by that is it exposed the employment status, people who were able to work from home versus people who had to continue to work in order to earn a living and were in member or customer-facing jobs. It exposed financial inequities, people who have access to emergency savings or people who were living day to day, paycheck to paycheck, and did not have any savings at all, and for whom staying at home and not going to work was financially devastating. It exposed healthcare inequities, meaning that people who have quote unquote access to healthcare, but maybe their deductibles were so high and so exorbitant that even to get sick was going to be a financial devastation to them. It also exposed educational inequities. People who in our society today, it's almost like we can't believe that people don't have access to the internet, but there are many people in all of our states who have no access to the internet. So when we had stay-at-home school orders, for example, there are young people now that still cannot access school. So what COVID-19 did was it ripped off the Band-Aid. These inequities were laid bare for all of us to see, and we were faced with the fact that they do exist. So almost daily, you hear us in the news or people talking about essential workers or critical workers. And while the list that I have here is not an exhaustive list, it is one that we have been forced to magnify with laser focus on who is really essential. And what do we notice about this list? Well, we notice that this list is not the people that we were typically talking about as essential workers. So example, healthcare providers. We know that healthcare providers are essential, but we are now starting to talk about the people who clean the hospital, who wash and clean the patients. We're also thinking about grocery store workers, people who stock the shelves and who work at the checkout counter as being essential. We're talking about school district staff, like people who drive the buses because they deliver food to families now who have to stay at home and are no longer able to, maybe their children are no longer able to get a meal from school. We're also looking at, and I'm not going to go through the entire list, but we're also talking about people in the food and agriculture industry as essential workers. We have never really talked about the people who cut up, package, and produce the meats and fish and groceries that we eat and that we want to see on the grocery store shelves. We don't really talk about those workers before, but now we're seeing them as essential workers, as we who are able to stay at home, as all of us stay at home, as some of us work from home. We're starting to understand that there are people who are out there in society who we may have tended to think about them as maybe low-paying jobs or jobs that some of us really wouldn't want to do. Suddenly, we are seeing that those individuals, those people, are essential workers. What we began to realize is who is the backbone of our society. A backbone is defined as the part of something that makes it successful or strong. And the definition that I put together of an essential worker is, essential workers are the backbone of community, ensuring that it has what it needs for its essential day-to-day living. Their work holds up, is foundational to societal success. So as COVID-19 exposed to us, laid bare the societal inequities that we have in terms of people who are considered to be essential workers and the lack of access to a variety of different things that people have, it also made us think about what do we need to do about that? How can we fix this in our society? How can we make this right? And I want to offer one way to look at that, and I offer an intersectional approach to trying to address the societal inequities that we see in our communities, our cities, and our states. We tend to think about issues in a very disjointed way, and we tend to focus them on particular one or two particular groups of people. And as a result of that, we end up fighting one another instead of working together to solve the problems. Because when we actually think about the societal issues that COVID-19 exposed, they cross a lot of boundaries and lines. There are still some issues that are specific to a particular gender or a particular race, but there are many more societal issues that cross those lines. And so I suggest that we start to try to look at those issues, problems to be addressed, the areas of need, the people impacted, in an intersectional way, so that when we are looking at legislative or policy agendas, that we look at those legislative or policy agendas in an intersectional way, looking at where do the issues intersect, so that when we create a solution, we have a comprehensive solution, not a disjointed solution. So in closing, we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to try to get this right now. We have an opportunity. This is our reset button. It's our reset time. Because what COVID-19 did was the great equalizer. COVID-19 exposed our societal inequities, but all is not lost. We can do something about it. I suggest that we do not approach what we do in a disjointed way, where everyone is looking out for themselves, groups of people are against each other, it's us four and no more, because the result in that is policies that address symptoms, not the real problem or issues, and it encourages people fighting for a small slice of the pie. Versus if we look at things in an interconnected or an intersectional way, that we strive to see the effects of multiple forms of disenfranchisement on the collective whole. And then we define policy that gets to the root cause, not just the symptom of the policy issues. I am a certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, process improvement and organizational development consultant with 25 years of experience. I'm a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, a fur mommy to Foxy, and a fun fact about me is I am the owner of Gima Gear, a clothing line for women who are definitely not grandma as usual. So I hope that you have found this short video helpful to you. Again, these are some tips and tools that I have found over the course of my 25 years working in a variety of different settings to be helpful. If you'd like to know more about me, you can look at my website at www.applytheword.com, and you can also send me an email at connect@applytheword.com. And don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please, if you find this to be useful, share this document or share the channel with other people. And thank you.